One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
I was really becoming more open as an advocate for cannabis. We would smoke out in the parking lot there, whereas at other places that we were still kind of like hiding and, you know, hiding underneath the truck, the big semi truck or
that. Hey, Rob, before we close out, last week we mentioned about Triple E asked the question about mental health and, what to do about medication and what to do about, seeing a therapist and then family getting involved and throwing it back in your face. Randy Orton just did an interview with Stephanie McMahon, and he opened out about panic attacks, having panic attacks. And so I just wanted to read real quick and just get your insight and thoughts on this. But he said to Stephanie, my head was just going. It was like playing out all the scenarios, worst case. This is recent too, by the way. This is like during when he got his back surgery and everything like that. He said I was trying to go to bed at night and then not being able to lay down in bed because the mind would start going. And then all of a sudden I'd get like hot and have to get out of bed. And then I'd be like, everyone's sleeping in the house. And I'm out walking around our yard, just taking deep breaths. And I met an amazing doctor, and she gave me just pages and pages of information on how to deal with panic attacks and stuff. And then he said, I don't know that the medication ever worked, but it did make me feel not myself. So I didn't like the medication, but I kept taking it because I thought, well, I need to take it because if I don't, I'm going to have panic attacks. I was having them anyways, And I was like, honestly, it's been, what is it? June. It's coming up on 6 months since I've had a panic attack. So pretty... Like Randy opened up about, I had no clue he was going through panic attacks.
Doesn't he go on to say that he quit taking the medication?
Yes, I think so. I think he stopped taking it because, it wasn't working for him. And we were talking about that too, how it sometimes doesn't work for you. And it's kind of trial and error. And it's frustrating because it takes time for it to take effects. So, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing that happened to pop up after we just talked about it.
Right. Yeah. And like I said before, there's not like one formula that works for everybody, not in anything. And that is the actual foundation of all my beliefs. Anything that's RVDology starts with that. We have our own values. We're all different. And so anytime you group yourself into other people expecting to get the same results, if you don't get them, don't be so surprised. You didn't get what they got because you're not them, you're you. And I can't be clear enough with that. I've always tried to say that. Randy doesn't know if his medication was working or not. Maybe he didn't have the right medication. Also, maybe he didn't even need it. Maybe his brain chemistry sorted itself out in the same amount of time that he was on it. He also said he got pages of information on how to deal with the issue. So I'm going to assume also he was meditating, he was breathing, he was listening to soft music, whatever else was on those pages, he was doing as well. But when it comes to the medication, I can tell you for a fact that for some people like myself, there's absolutely no question about it. 2 weeks in from when I started, boom, all of a sudden I had a strength that I didn't have before. I couldn't talk about what I was going through without breaking down. And sometimes I would just start crying without even knowing, because that's what depression does. I'd just be, I was with my mom and sister at Cracker Barrel enjoying a meal, and all of a sudden I started crying. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know this was going to happen," and it would happen like that and bother me, at inconvenient times. And anyway, when I started taking the medication that the psychiatrist recommended, which was Lexapro. It ended up being Lexapro and Wellbutrin. Anyway, I was told by a very good friend of mine that it would take like 2 weeks. And man, right at the 2 week mark, it just felt like all of a sudden I had a suit of armor on, because I would hit these conversations that used to trigger an emotional response, and all of a sudden I was able to talk about it, and I was like, whoa, it's been months since I could talk about my dad without bawling, and it was just like it made me like feel like so much stronger. Not everyone's going to get the exact same results. Not everyone's trying the same drugs. Not everyone's chemical balance or imbalance is going to be the exact same. We all produce our own different I'm not counting
OxyContin.
That's all I can think of right now. And
I know I can't think of the term either. What you're trying to think of?
Fuck.
Coding? I know.
Love. It's love. Oxytocin. And also, all of the hormones and emotions. It's like, man, there's a massive wiring up there in your head, and we're all different. We all respond differently when we look up at a fucking hot air balloon. Mm-hmm. We all, you know what I mean? We all respond differently if we look at a fucking rhinoceros, whatever it is. So why wouldn't we respond differently to drugs?
Sorry, my cat's going off right now.
No worries. But I'm known as I heard, there was a comment. What was it about? I guess it was back when the internet was going crazy over the Sabu and Kratom, right? And they were trying to blame that on someone that gave it to him, like he wouldn't have his own Kratom. One of the comments that I read on YouTube said, I knew Rob is so pro-drug, I knew that he was going to stick up for the Kratom, right? And I am pro-drug. That's because I'm honest. Because if you, and I don't care who you are, if in your bubble drugs only mean the certain street drugs that you want that to mean, that's not the way it is in real life. If you go to a pharmacist and asks if he sells drugs, he'll say yes, not no. And by the way, whatever is on the street in your little bubble, you can get that over the counter legally in other countries. So that's why you can get that underground here as well. Plus, people do sell out of the pharmacy, out the back door, underground. And so for you might think drugs just refers to heroin, I'm trying to say. But no, it also refers to Adderall, whether somebody needs it because they've been diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, or whether they want it because it's a recreational drug for them. You don't get to decide which drug is drug based on your conversation. So am I pro-drug? Yeah, I'm pro-use. I'm also not pro-abuse. I think drug abuse is bad. And I've lost a lot of friends from drug abuse. But I don't blame the fucking drugs. Drugs is the only thing that I can think of that people put all the blame on when people misuse it to death. Guns, half and half. Some people say, well, it's the people that kill people, and the other half say, no, it's the guns that kill people. They're not really sure about that one. How about when it comes to cars? Have you ever heard anybody try and get cars off the market because of the fatalities that cars cause, which is way more than drugs?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Nobody wants to get the cars off the market. Why not? Why don't we blame them?
Mm-hmm.
So drugs are the same way. And I got to tell you, I doubt that my wife is going to want to give birth to two twins without drugs. If you say drugs are bad and you don't do drugs and you want to give birth without having drugs, then that's fine. I found out that I had a high blood pressure recently. You know how I fix it? Drugs. Boom. Boom. And now my high blood pressure is good. And guess what? I found out 48 to 49% of men over like 45 years old have high blood pressure. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's almost half of everybody. So is there a lot of people out there that aren't going to take the drugs that are going to help their high blood pressure? I mean, there are other ways to fight it, especially if you're holistic. It can eat enough beet juice and, get enough healthy lifestyle changes. I already have a pretty healthy lifestyle, and I need drugs too.
I like big
Pro
juice.
drugs. I'm thankful for drugs.
Yeah.
Amen.
Not all drugs, and I, I'd be scared to death to go get drugs on the street with the fentanyl scare and not knowing what the fuck is in it or who's putting what in it. I'd be scared to death of that, and that doesn't mean I'm a proponent for that or for abuse just because I got the balls to say that I'm pro drug. You probably are too. You just don't know it.
Right. Exactly. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yep. Bruce, any thoughts too on, did you have like I don't know if you have like mental health stuff or anything like that, but did you have any perspective you want to give to?
I went through depression when my mom passed, and everything was happening. I became secluded and stayed in the house. Plus, it was the side effects of COVID. We had to stay in the house. So that's what a lot of people don't realize is this whole entire world was sequestered for a year and a half, and that's why people are crazy.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. If the entire world is locked, is in seclusion, each person, they handle it differently. That's why people's attitudes have changed. That's why people's some people's ideals have changed. We're all crazy. You're crazy if you don't accept that you're crazy.
Hey, big pro wrestling weekend coming up here with WWE. They got WWE Evolution and they got WWE Saturday Night's main event. You can have a little bit of fun with my bookie. All you got to do is deposit a minimum of $45. You get 50% added to that deposit. And hey, if you're feeling like it, Goldberg is quite the underdog against Gunther. He's plus 550. So if you wanted to see what could happen, if you have a little belief and demand, then you can bet and see what Goldberg can do. Also, Seth Rollins is heavily favored against LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre matches on tap as well that you can bet. So take a look at it. Go to mybookie.website/RVD. Use promo code RVD and put a minimum deposit of $45. You get 50% of that added to it. So check it out. I can't wait to see what Saturday Night's main event presents. I can't wait to see what Evolution presents. You can have a little bit more fun here with my bookie. Try it out, guys. Hey, guys. Whoa, change of scenery. Summertime's here, and it is a change of scenery. We got a lot going on. Lots happening. The weather is finally nice. It's finally hit, and you're ready to hit the road. Maybe do something, take a little vacay. I've done a couple already, back to my hometown, and it's frustrating because you got to pack everything. You got to think you have this and you forget that and all that. And hey, Mando makes a lot of things easier and makes you a little bit more confident in what you're packing too, because you can smell good wherever you go. I went back to my Pennsylvania town of Ridgeway, Pennsylvania, and I had the Mando, the bourbon leather, and man, it's such a fresh, refreshing smell, and you just enjoy it. And you enjoy it. You feel confident being around. My brother had a high school reunion, and so I saw a lot of old friends and everything like that. And feeling good, feeling confident, and you knew that Mando was taking care of you. The stick is one of my favorite products. I like the bar of soap that they do, and also I appreciate the wipes too, if you're in a pinch or anything like that. But I also really like the deodorant spray that can hit you anywhere if you're in a pinch. And I did that a couple of times too while I was on the road and going and cooking and doing the vacation stuff. And Mando, you cannot beat it. And for the summertime, there's no better way to feel confident than go with Mando. I think it's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Mando and deodorant stick deodorant product options are the solid deodorant stick and the spray deodorant, like I mentioned. And so, man, you cannot get better than that. And Mando is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products, your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. If you can, I recommend getting the bar of soap, like I said, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code RVD at Shop Mando for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. SHOPMANDO.com. Please please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered. Perfect for your pits. Smell great doing it. Boom. Mando.